Alright, what is up? Welcome back to the channel. So the OG game mode in Clash Royale, Retro Royale, has not been out for too long, but you can already tell the meta is quite a bit different with all these new cards, all the evolutions, and all that stuff. So I figured I would give my top 9 decks to use. These are mostly OG decks, a bit of nostalgia bias for these, but also they're just good decks that work pretty damn well. So for first deck I got to show here, we got log bait, and it's pretty much the same thing to normal log bait. Is that thing? Only difference is that the current log bait with the Goblin Barrel evolution, it's more based on like bridge spammy split lane stuff, and you usually see the Ice Spirit as a spirit of choice. Used to run Fire Spirit back in the day. I don't know really why, but that's what most people ran. Still a really good deck. I mean, I'm not a good log bait player, but I have a really fun time playing with log bait. I mean, it feels to be a lot more tanks that are used, and a lot more hog riders. The Inferno is super useful to have in this. The Knight's just a really good tank, even without its evolution. These are all just cards that are really good without their evolutions. Maybe the slight exception of the Goblin Barrel, it's not as good without its evolution, but still a solid card. And if they don't have their login cycle, you can get some insane damage when you got the Knight tanking or something. And this deck used to finish always super high back in the day. So you'll pretty much have no excuse to not win with this, except for the fact that you were stuck at the game, just like me. So I feel you. Second deck here, we got the good old Goizen. So yeah, you got the Giant. There's not a whole lot of great tank killers right now. I mean, you have Inferno Dragon, Inferno Tower, Mini P.E.K.K.A. and P.E.K.K.A. But apart from that, there's not that many crazy things. I mean, P.E.K.K.A. is not everywhere right now, so definitely have a lot of success with Giant Poison. There's a lot of support troops that get used, like Musketeer and that, so Poison is going to be super nice to have against those. And I mean, Prince is just really good. Also, a thing to note is that the balance changes are not the OG ones. These are still like the current stats that the cards have. So like Prince still has that really fast dash. Guard still have a crazy tanky shield, and Poison still has a reduced tower damage, but it's still a really good card. And with Giant Poison, it's really good. This deck, you just kind of want to play it. Just kind of defend slowly, and really just kind of slap a Giant or a Prince in front of whatever you have counter pushing. And usually that works pretty well. Then you can place your Poison, whatever supporting unit they'll play, and it should basically make your defense infinitely easier to deal with on the, when it comes back on your side. So, I mean, I'm more of a Giant Graveyard type of guy. I don't know, roast me in the comments, but I'm not a huge Giant Poison kind of deck player, but it's a good deck. I fuck with it. Lots of buys here. I love Speedy Balloon. It's like my favorite deck ever. This is not the exact Speedy Balloon deck I ran when I started playing, but I think the first Speedy Balloon deck I made was really shit, and this one's quite a bit better. You want to cycle with Speedy Balloon. That's kind of the main way to deal with it, because Speedy Balloon's one of those things is if they have a counter for it, you're never getting through like a building or like a wizard or any one of those cards. So the whole thing with Speedy Balloon is you need to outcycle them. And yeah, 2.9 cycle, you have the Speedy Balloon technically is a 2-card thing, so you have a 3-card cycle to get back to your Speedy Balloon. So all you need to do is you play a Speedy Balloon, Ice Spirit, Skeletons, Bats, little cheap defense and whatever comes back, and you can go it again. And usually they can't cycle back, which is often how you win most of your games with Speedy Balloon. I mean, other than that, it's got a pretty weak defense, but the whole point of this deck is to just rush them, get that insane damage, and scramble your defense and hopefully not lose the whole game. But yeah, that's just really how you play Speedy Balloon. There's not a whole lot more in depth to that. You just got to know how your basic defensive interactions with Skeletons, Ice Spirits, Bats, Musketeer, and you just got to know when to go in. But yeah, that's really it. Here at deck number 4, we got the OG P.E.K.K.A. Bridge Spam. This is pretty different to the P.E.K.K.A. Bridge Spam you'll see today. Obviously, no Ram Rider back at that point. You had no Magic Archer. Zap was just like the fucking king of spells. Bandit, really good. E-Wizard now is obviously more than before. E-Wizard just got that new buff, which lets him one-shot spirits, one-shot minions, when he uses both of his attacks. So he's really good now, better than he was. Dark Prince has also got that recent buff, but it's a little less noticeable. But it's also nice with this deck, you get the minions which can help get some big DPS on defense, snipe those buildings. Like Inferno Tower, you can really nice, you can catch an Inferno Tower if you play minions in the middle of the bridge, which is super cool. And then Bandit is just, it's a pretty high skill card, honestly, but once you figure out how to make it dash and chain your dashes, dude, you get so much value with Bandit. And then P.E.K.K.A is not as good as it used to be, but it's always going to be a decent card. It's just got that insane damage. And yeah, this is just one of those decks you just like to pressure with your Bandit, your Ghost, your Dark Prince at the bridge whenever you think they're low on elixir. And once you get them to that goofy cycle, then you can either pressure them. Well, you just keep on pressuring them, and then once they get low on elixir, like crazy low, and when you have no other cards really to counter them, you just go for your P.E.K.K.A in the back and build up a big push to steamroll them because they're down like 10 elixir. Okay, deck number 5, I've got the OG Splash Yard. People back then, for some reason, did not use the Ice Wizard or the Bomb Tower, and Barbarian Barrel was not in the game, so you couldn't really run that, which is a bit unfortunate. Barbarian Barrel is currently like one of the biggest, most useful cards, and it's like a staple of Splash Yard. And E-Wizard, I don't know why people used E-Wizard at this point. Like, a lot of players used E-Wizard. The general idea is you never want to use fucking E-Wizard in a graveyard deck, is because if you use E-Wizard, the tower then locks off the tank, and then starts targeting the skeletons, which is what you don't want. That's the whole point of graveyard, is to have your tower target a tank and have a tank for the skeletons. But I'm not going to question it. I wasn't there when it happened. Well, I was there. I was watching. I wasn't really a big player at the time. We're talking 2017 here. I really started playing back in like 2019. That's when I got my phone. Mom and Dad did not want their little son rotting away on Clash Royale. But little do they know, here I am now, rotting away on Clash Royale. I'm happy doing it. Shout out to Clash Royale. Smash like. But yeah, this deck's really good. I mean, Poison is just, you need to play Poison of Graveyard. Maybe it's just the whole thing of this is a bowler, Baby Dragon, Tornado, Graveyard Poison, win game. Is kind of how you play it. I mean, it's not a whole lot more complicated than that. Defenses can be a little bit annoying, but I don't know. Just find a way, man. No, really, it's just you try and stack your bowler deep, kite things with skeletons at night, get your bowler, Baby Dragon, E-Wizard value, and if it gets close to your supporting troops, you Tornado away, or Tornado to King Tower. You need to have your King Tower up in this matchup. Yeah, that's kind of my big tips for Splash Yard. Deck number 6 here, Hog Trifecta. I mean, how could I make a video about OG Clash Royale without Hog Trifecta? This deck was everywhere, man. This is the deck that gave birth to your modern day Hog cycles, which I don't like those. But yeah, Pump was pretty good. Void's not in the game right now. Earthquake's not in the game, so you need to play Pump. Pump is so broken right now. Honestly, probably could have put Pump Bow in here too, but I don't like Pump Bow. But dude, you gotta play Pump. No Earthquake, no Void. Pump is so much better. There's way less counters to it. The only good counters is Fireball, Lightning, and Rocket, which are all a -1 trade or -2 with Fireball, I think. So yeah, you have to take that. And obviously you got the cannon. It's not as good as it used to be, but it's still a good building. And Hog always gets that shot on tower. And I don't know, it's weird how you see Hog decks back in the day would run Zap and Poison instead of the current Log Earthquake, Log Fireball, Log Delivery. But hey, this worked. And it still does work. I've messed around with it a little bit. It's a fun deck to play. Yeah, you just kind of take it chill. Play your Pump whenever you're up in Elixir, and then you can Hog the bridge when you feel you're actually really up in Elixir and you don't want to pump. And you get some decent damage all the time. And it's a solid deck. It's just a really solid all-around deck. Number 7, big Giant Graveyard player myself. Fuck yeah, Giant Graveyard. Not the version I like to play, because the version I like to play is Skeleton King, and obviously that wasn't in the game at this point, and that version also heavily relies on evolved archers and evolutions. Honestly, kind of nice to see. But evolved archers aren't necessarily the best card to have in Giant Graveyard, but they're just a nice card to have. But here we got the Witch. I mean, the Witch is so good in Giant Graveyard, especially that buff she got recently. She gets that extra splash. The Dark Prince, really good. Nice stuff with the Giant, can help clear up some tanks. Clutch on defense. I mean, it's just the OG version of the Skeleton King. They're really the same thing, except the Skeleton King's got the ability. Less DPS, but more health. Skeleton Army Giant Graveyard you just want to play if you're when you're up a 2-tower situation. If you lose with Giant Graveyard in a 2-tower situation, unless you're going against Royal Giant, dude, quit the game, man, because the the synergy you have with these cards and playing stuff in the pocket is unreal. You can play Graveyard on their Princess Tower, Giant the pocket, and then Skarmy around your Giant, or you can go Giant Skarmy in the pocket or Giant Bats in the pocket. So many easy plays that can absolutely destroy your opponents. Obviously, you can go for the Giant Barbs, but that's not as good, especially without the Barbarian's evolutions. But really, 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 really solid deck combos you can play. Yeah, just Giant Graveyard. Single Elixir, this deck's pretty tough to play. You got to be super careful with your defense. Biggest tip I could give for Giant Graveyard is you cannot go in big without knowing what their cards are, because until you know what their counters are, like, you have to play so passive, because all it takes is for you to go Giant Graveyard and they whip out the Mother Witch P.E.K.K.A on you, and you have lost the game. There's no recovering from that, right? Obviously, there's no Mother Witch, but they can still play, like, I don't know, P.E.K.K.A guards, right, on you. Yeah, no, thank God there's no Mother Witch. Actually, that's a good point, actually. No Mother Witch, no Goblin Curse. Two of probably the biggest graveyard counters you can think of. So Graveyard is going to be so much better right now. So, like, that's the two things. Like, a lot of counters to the cards that you would see, they just don't exist. Like, obviously, you talked about the Elixir Pump, no Void, no Earthquake. The Earthquake's also a pretty good counter to Graveyard. But Graveyard, you got no Mother Witch, no Goblin Curse, a lot of things like that, which are super nice to see. And obviously the evolutions, but that's less of like a specific counter. That's only a situational counter. Deck number 8 here. Look, this is the deck I ran when I started playing the game. Don't judge me. I know I was that mid-ladder menace, but this deck is actually nasty. You just get, the whole point of this deck is you just play like a mid-ladder menace. You play like an absolute buffoon the whole game. And you really just wait for them to waste. You keep your clone hidden the whole game, unless you need it on defense to get some extra DPS really, really quickly. But you just play like an absolute, normal person. I don't know, you play like a classic mid-ladder menace. And then once you know that you got a good push, so you got Mega Knight, you got the Giant Skeleton, and you got the Balloon heading their way, clone all that shit up. You're pretty much guaranteed value of the 2 bombs from the Balloon and the Giant Skeleton. And, like, if they've already wasted their spell, dude, like, you're 3-crowning them. This deck is actually nasty. And then Mega Knight Skarmy in the pocket is actually a ridiculously good play for no reason. That's like another one you can do when you're up a lot of elixir. You can just go Mega Knight Skarmy in the pocket, and if you want to, you can clone or Balloon after. Then Tornado, obviously just all your defenses is really you just either Giant Skeleton, Wizard, Valkyrie, Mega Knight, any Tornado, everything in. Any one of those cards. And then Skarmy you can use on any, like, tank they try to play if you're low on elixir. It's a decent bailout card if they don't have any good spell. Skarmy can actually counter a surprising amount of things. It's not the best card in the game. It's actually a pretty mid card. But in this deck, I feel like it does the job really, really well. Deck number 9. You guys ready? Now, I hate to have to show this, but Expo is an OG deck. It was good. People played with it. I hate Expo, and I hate you if you play Expo. I hate myself when I play Expo. I hate anyone that touches Expo. If the word Expo comes out of your mouth, you got a death wish. No, it's not that bad, but at least Expo isn't as annoying. It's actually more annoying now. Expo, the biggest counter to Expo is really things like Earthquake. Earthquake, not in the game. Royal Giant, also a little bit less meta at this point because Fisherman wasn't in the game, and Fisherman's like the main driver for Royal Giant. Not main, but a big driver for Royal Giant. So Expo is really good. Actually, I would recommend playing Pump Bow after doing my big thinking during this video. Pump Bow will be pretty similar. You could take out pretty much any one of these cards, probably like the Ice Spirit or the Skeletons, and place an Elixir Pump instead. And dude, Pump Bow is a nasty, nasty deck. Because again, their big counters to Expo and Pump are just not in the game right now. Arrows are slightly less meta because Firecracker is not in the game, and obviously you play arrows because you hate Firecracker. Who doesn't hate Firecracker? But yeah, really, this is just a solid deck all around. Not a whole lot of great counters. And please don't play it. Just please don't play Expo. Please don't make me right. Okay, I don't want to see this. I want to have my fun playing the OG game mode. I do not want to see any of you goons playing Expo. For today, obviously, what I do want to see you guys do is run your OG homemade decks. Okay, I want to see some P.E.K.K.A. Mega Knight to bridge with like a freeze and a mirror. I think freeze was in the game, right? I'm not crazy, right? Yeah, freeze was in the game. I just want to see. I want to see your goofy mid-ladder decks. Okay, I don't want to see any meta decks. Obviously, I gave you guys meta decks, but that's really the best thing to do. I'm a nice guy like that. But I want to see them goofy mid-ladder decks. Okay, please just like show me something to fucking laugh at. That was it. Like, to me, I thought it was so much fun. Like, you know, sitting at your lunch table with your buddies, you go into your guy, you go at some random guy online. He's got the Asian username, and he posed with the fucking level 1 million Mega Knight at the bridge, and just 3 crowns you instantly. You know, that's the memories I'm very fond of. Okay, I'm not very fond of getting out-cycled by some hog psycho player and getting absolutely clapped because I can't break through his defense. No, I just want to either 3 crown some guy with my Mega Knight or get 3 crowned by someone else's Mega Knight. That's the way to play Clash, in my opinion. No better way. Yeah, that's really about it for today. See ya.